הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Congregation Shaare Zedek, located in the beautiful prairies of Manitoba, Canada. We are in the province of Winnipeg. Remember that name?
The city of Winnipeg.
The city of Winnipeg. Remember that name. Why? Because it's awesome here.
It is. You'd be surprised where Winnipeg popped up. We made the top 100 most interesting places to visit in Time Magazine this year. That was kind of cool.
Absolutely. So if you're ever around, come visit us. And one day, the building is going to be open up again, hopefully soon. We all have to play our parts so we can speed up that moment. We are all a little bit responsible for that to happen. We know what to do, so we should do it. We should do it. Thank you so much. Hello, Leslie. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Anibal.
Cantor Leslie's here early this morning.
I am, and I'm ready to daven.
Me too. And we have Marvin Polanski controlling everything. And we have Cindy Singer reading Torah today. Yes, she said yes. Cindy is going to be reading a little bit of Torah for us. And we welcome everyone. Thank you so much for letting us into your homes so we can celebrate Shabbat together. What a parsha. What a parsha we have today. Parsha Tetzei. And one of the most interesting parts, actually, by the way, is one of the sources of the bar mitzvah. It's talking about the Ben Sorer Umore, the rebellious son. So the rabbis discuss what is the age, right? Because talking about responsibilities, what is the age where we are responsible of our acts, and they come up with the number 13. But that's not the point. The point is says that if you have a Ben Sorer Umore, the rebellious son, that he or she does the worst thing you can imagine, the Torah said you have to put him to death. You have to kill him. But it is interesting because you go to the Talmud, Masechet Sanhedrin, and it says that the Ben Sorer Umore never happened and never will happen. But then the shocking part is if it's something that never happened and never will happen, why is in the Torah? Well, the rabbis explained that the Torah is trying to prove a point here. The fact that there is no such a thing of a person without hope. There is always hope to improve. So the thing is, there is nothing to do. I am the way I am. I cannot change. The Torah said that's not Jewish understanding of the world. There is always hope to improve. There is always hope to do at least something better. And this is something very important. We are approaching Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. And this kind of reflection should take part of our day. We start thinking about how to improve. So don't you dare thinking that there is no hope for you. You can always aim to go higher, become a better person. We come to synagogue to get that inspiration, to get that energy, to be uplifted, so we can believe in ourselves. So today, believe in yourself. You are here for a reason. So embrace this opportunity and let's celebrate Shabbat. Let's connect to God and with each other, all together through prayers and music. So thank you again for being here. Back to you, Leslie.
We're going to begin with our morning gratitude prayers, our Birchot HaShachar, and you're invited to rise and join us on page number 5. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natan lasech vivina levchim ben yom uben laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzamo.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chori.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivri.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, mabish harumi.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asuri.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufi.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi.
Page 6.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gabel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, azer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Together.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten laya'ef koach.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi.
And please remain standing for Baruch Shamar, page 7.
Yep, page number 7. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh bereshit, Baruch omer ve'olam. Baruch Meshalem Zachar Tov Lireav Baruch Chailad Lekayam Lanetzach Baruch Podeh Umatzia Baruch Shemo Lai Lai La 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 La
You may be seated, and maybe we should catch up with the messages that keep popping up here.
Sounds good.
So we can say welcome to everyone. We can say hello.
Welcome to David Wilder this morning. Shabbat Shalom to Yehuda Cherney, Phyllis Laveman, Zelda Elkin, Stephen Cantor, Sandy Polanski, Hannon Bell, Andrea Aroyave, Eric Green, Earl Barish, Priscilla Kerr, Hannon Bell. Welcome here. I love Hannon's comment. It's a rainy morning here, and he says, Barbara Streisand saying, "Don't rain on my parade. Life is good. Life is good." Welcome to Joanne Seif, Judy Chirac, Jerome Foman, Alex Spragans, Terry, Corey Glassberg, Josue Selva, Anibal. Your mom. Hola, Mami. Welcome here this morning.
Hola, Mami.
And who else? Jackie Sipe. Welcome here. Good to see you. Welcome to Claudette Hale, Leon Pinkovich, Murray and Sharon Nazen, Lori and Yisrael Ben Noon, Valerie Ring, and Roberto Franco. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Shira Zedek.
Shabbat Shalom. So it's time to praise the name of God. We usually add here one of the chapters of the book of Psalms. Let's do Psalm 150. We did Sufi last week.
We did.
So
Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, page 8, Psalm 150. Hallelujah, El Bekocho, Hallelujah, Birki Auzo, Hallelujah, Bigevurota, Hallelujah, Kerov Gudlo, Hallelujah, Beteka Shofar, Hallelujah, Benem Evechinor, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah, betofu machol, Hallelujah, bemini meugav, Hallelujah, betiltele shama, Hallelujah, betiltele trua, kolan shama te hallelujah, kolan shama te hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. We turn to page 46 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners and those observing Yahrzeit, let's join together. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. בחייכון וביומייכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן.
אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. You may be seated. Very interesting comment from Phyllis Leifman. I did not hear Bill's name mentioned.
Phyllis doesn't miss a thing. And Phyllis, you're right. Bill is not here this morning. I'd like to imagine Bill relaxing somewhere, having a second cup of tea in the morning. And yeah, he's off for another weekend, hopefully recharging his batteries, as we talked about last week, the importance of taking some time for yourself when you need.
Yeah, we take time off so we don't become off.
Because we want to be here for all of you.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see you. Phyllis, thank you for checking in. And we are thinking of Bill this morning as well. Alan and Gloria Cantor, I like this one too. Gloria and Alan Cantor are present, of course. And of course you are. It is so nice to have you both here this morning and as such an important part of our Shabbat mornings every week, Alan and Gloria. Thank you so much for joining us. And Glory Fleischer, welcome here. Nice to see you this morning. We're going to continue on page number 10 with Shochanad. Shochanad Maharon Ekadosh Shemo Vefi Yesharim Titalal Uvedivrei Tzadikim Titbarach Uvilshon Chasidim Titromah Vekerev kedoshim titkadash. Yitkada veyitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvechaye dekol beit Yisrael v'agala ubizman kariv ve'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'alam ule'almei amaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'itromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitale ve'italal
Shemei dekudesha brichu
leila min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata da'amiran be'alma
Vehimeru, 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 vehimeru.
ve'imeru amen. We're working our way towards the Baruch Hu on page number 12. And you're invited to rise and join us.
Let's do As We Bless.
Beautiful, the top of page 12. As we bless the source of life, so source of life. So we are blessed, and our blessings give us strength and make our vision clear, and our blessings give us peace and the courage to dare as we bless the source of life. So we are blessed as we bless the source of life. So we are blessed. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorech choshech oseh shalom uvorech et hakol. We do have a few open aliyot this morning. I should let you know about. If someone would like an aliyah this morning, you can let us know through our chat. If you have something you're commemorating or something you're celebrating, or if it just feels right this morning, feel free to send us a message, and we'd love to give you an honor this morning. We are working our way towards the Shema Yisrael, and I wonder which melody Rabbi Anibal is going to pick next on page 13.
We had to do the traditional. I had the tablet somewhere else.
Sounds good. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 15. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you will teach them diligently unto your children, and you will speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you are walking by the way, and when you're lying down, when you're rising up, and when you're rising up. And you will bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they will be for frontlets between your eyes, and you will write them on the doorposts of your house and upon to continue silently for the next paragraphs of the Shema. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Amen.
We're on page 17 for Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osef Eleh. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osef Eleh. Shira Chadasha, Shibchu Geulim L'Shimcha, Al Shvatayam, Yachad Kulam, Hodu v'Yimlichu ve'amru, Adonai Yimloch le'olam ba'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osef Eleh. Zur Yisrael,
Please rise.
Uma Bezrat Yisrael, Ufadechinu Mecha Yehuda beYisrael, Aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osef Eleh. Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael. We're all ready for our Amida. We're on page number 18, and you're invited to rise or remain standing and join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, רופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמנתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב ביד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו אז בקורש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנסים לעומת צרפים לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך מתי 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 תמלוך בציון בקרוב בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון תתקדם ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים לדור ודור לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים לעינינו תיראנה תיראנה מלכותך כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד גדלך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד גדלך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי המלך קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו. Amen.
We're going to continue with our own prayers at this time. Page 23 and forwards onwards. Feel free to use your own words of prayer at this time and take all the time you need. We'll continue out loud shortly. Shalom, bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu le'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Yasher Koach, Rabbi Anibal.
Yasher Koach, Leslie, beautiful singing.
Thank you. And Yasher Koach to Marvin on his fancy camera work back there. It's nice to have Marvin here. He was on a bit of a journey this week, and he's made it home safely. Marvin, nice to have you here in the sanctuary this Shabbos again. We couldn't do what we do without you.
He's taking risks this morning.
He is.
And then he's probably checking at the chat. Do people like it? Do I have anybody complaining? No? Okay, I'll try again.
Absolutely. And we have Cindy Singer here. I'm so thrilled to have Cindy here this morning. Cindy, all year long, we've been davening at the Minyan, and I'd see Cindy's name pop up on the screen. And it's always such a treat to see somebody in person or over Zoom. So thank you so much for joining us, Cindy. Cindy has learned 3 readings for the morning, which is quite the accomplishment. She was working pretty hard. And if anyone else would like to read Torah here, just send me an email, leslie@szwinnipeg.ca. I'd be happy to get you started. And I do see we have a few messages on our chat. I'd like to welcome Jay Lampel from Chicago here. Clyde Hertig, welcome. Ariel Lee, Boker Or to you as well, and thank you so much. Marilyn Pearl, Thelma Suris is here. And David Wilder, absolutely, you can have an aliyah for your grandmother this week, and your grandfather last week, and your aunt next week. Absolutely. If you can send us your name in Hebrew, that would be beautiful. Welcome to Sarah B. and Murray Nazen. We would love to call you up to the Torah this morning. Thank you so much. And Jerome Foman, you've got a well done, Marvin, on the chat. Nicely done. They're noticing out there all of that love that you put into our stream with all these different camera angles and your creativity. Thank you so much, Marvin. And now, where are we? A Kaddish Shalem, I suppose.
Kaddish Shalem, yes.
Page 32, a Kaddish Shalem on our way to the Torah service. Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabbah ve'amad yivrach yirtei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonim yomechanu v'chay lekol beit Yisrael v'agalau b'zman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'halam le'amei hamaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitram v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechmata damiram b'ama v'imeru Amen. Titkabal tzatanu v'otel dekol Yisrael kadam avondi v'shmai v'imeru Amen. Yehi shlam araba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen.
Okay, it's time to continue with the Torah service. Very important part of the service. Beautiful, beautiful parsha this week with lots of wonderful messages for our generation. I was thinking as I was studying this parsha that I can probably come out with sermons for the entire high holidays just from this week's parsha. it's pure gold. Also, so many different laws that if you read between lines, it's not something that applied for the generation 3,000 years ago. It's something that's so relevant for each one of us. Like the comment that I made at the beginning, right? The message that there is always hope and, oh, beautiful. Stay tuned because there is more about that during the sermon. Actually, when I was writing this sermon, I said, I should keep this for Rosh Hashanah. But then I said, but then I don't have anything for this weekend. So here you go. It's a beautiful parsha. Stay tuned. But now it's time to take the Torah out of the ark. I need a minute to set this up. Leslie, take it away.
I believe we're on page 31. You're invited to rise as the ark is opened. Vayehi Aharon vayomer Moshe kuma Adonai ve'yafutu oivecha ve'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha ki mitzion Tetzei Torah ki mitzion Tetzei Torah udevar Adonai Yerushalayim Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoneinu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoneinu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadol Adonai iti, unevromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula ve'hagevura ve'atiferet ve'anetzach ve'ahod. Kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz.
Romemu,
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 Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, L'adom raglav kadoshu. Romemu,
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 Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, Lehar Kodsho, Ki Kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu. We're going to get our Torah scroll ready for the Torah service. Open it up and find our Parsha. One of the things you notice when you read Torah is the book was a very practical invention, but the Torah scroll is special. It's like art, made with love. There are a few things, I don't think there's anything we read from these days that is made with such care and such beauty. I'm going to prepare our scroll here for Cindy Singer to come up as our first reader this morning. Cindy, I'm going to make some space for you. Now, I saw in the chat as we were starting the Torah service, we have our aliyot worked out for the morning. So our first two were open. So we're going to begin with the first person to ask, David Wilder, on our list here. David, it's our honor to call you up this morning. Our Rishon reading is found in the Etz Chaim Chumash on page 1123. Or in whatever book you like to use at home, or in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, beginning at verse 8 and going to verse 12. Cindy, you are looking lovely this morning.
Oh, thank you.
How does it feel to be back?
Feels good.
Good.
Scary.
I'm going to have to ask you to not be afraid of your microphone because we want to hear you. So you're welcome to adjust it to your liking. I know a lot of people are not very comfortable with microphones. Cindy's kind of giving her microphone a bit of an eye right now. She's not too sure about it. But we'll work it out, I'm sure, so everyone can hear her. And Rabbi Anibal, are you at your station in the back there?
My mic is here. I am.
Perfect.
I am here and ready to start. As I mentioned this, please try to follow along the Parsha because it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful Parsha that we have today. And I don't have the page number here. I forgot it in the piano. If I may have Marvin for a minute. Thank you so much. I would like to guide you a little bit as much as I can for the Torah reading, because we will be reading in the book of Deuteronomy, because we are reading in these weeks from the last book of the Torah. These are the words of Moses, not necessarily the voice of the voice of God. This is the voice of Moses with very practical advice for his people. I think this is a wonderful thing because they're still the laws of God that they were given before, but now Moses is rephrasing everything in a language and in a way that this new generation will understand. And I believe that's exactly what we do generation after generation. So even though they are the same words that they were said before, it's just a little bit adapted to the needs of this new generation. So pay attention. We're going to be reading for the first Aliyah on Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verses 8 to 12. And if you have the Tetzei Chumash, if you have the physical copy, page 1123, and if you don't, you can download the PDF from our website, szwinnipeg.ca, and you can find there all the PDFs for the Sidurim and also the Torah reading so you can follow along. But again, you can use any Bible. Just go to Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 8 to 12. Leslie, back to you.
Beautiful. David Wilder is having this aliyah in honor of his grandmother, his grandfather, and his aunt. David, it's my honor to call you up this morning. V'tiga levitere malchuto aleinu bizman karov v'achom pletatenu pletatamo be'Yisrael l'chenu l'chesed l'rachamim l'ratzon v'menomar amen. Hakol avu godel aleinu nuchavod laTorah yamod. David Tzvi ben Mendel Lazer v'Sara Pesel Baruch Shnatan Torah Lamo Yisrael B'Kedushato V'atem advekim b'Adonai Elohechem Chaim kulchem hayom. David, are you ready? Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo teta'ev Adomi ki ahichachu lo teta'ev mitri ki ger hayita ve'ertzo banim asher yivaledu lachem dor shalishi yavo lachem b'kol Adonai ki tetzei machane al oyevecha v'nishmarta mikol devara ki yihye v'cha ish asher lo yihye techor mikre laila v'yatza el michutz lemachane lo yavo el tof hamachane v'chaya lifnot erev yirchatz b'mayim uchvoch hashemesh yavo el tof hamachane.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashir Koyach and Yashir Koyach. Cindy, beautiful reading.
Absolutely. Cindy, so good to have you here and to see you and to hear you. Thank you so much. Cindy, beautiful first reading.
Thank you.
But there is more, right?
There is. There is
more. Cindy, you can't go anywhere. Cindy is going to keep reading for another 2 aliyot. So we are moving into the second one now. This is going to be taken from Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 13 to 15. And if you have the Tetzei Chumash, page 1124. Who is our second reader?
Our next honoree is Murray Nazen. Murray, it's my pleasure to call you up this morning. Yamod Moshe ben Yaakov v'tzivya l'aliyah hashniya. Baruch et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
אמן. ויד תחיה לך מחוץ למחנה, ויסת שם החוץ, ויתד תחיה לך על אוזניך וחיה בשבתך חוץ וחפרת בה, ושבת וכיסית את צאתך, כי אדוני אלוהיך מתהלך בקרב מחניך, לחסילך ולתת אויביך לפניך, וחיה מחניך קודש, ולא ירא בך ערוות דבר, ושב מאחריך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashir Koyak Murray, thank you so much for being with us this Shabbat. And again, Yashir Koyak Cindy for another wonderful reading. And again, have you been reading along what's going on here? One of my favorite parts so far is at the very beginning of the first reading, where it says, you shall not hate the Edomite and the Egyptians. And why does the Torah have to say that? Well, because we have problems with them in the past. But the message here is because you had a problem in the past with a nation, with a group of people, doesn't mean that you have to hate them. Sometimes there is a problem that is within the generation, and then life continues. So there is no reason to keep hating people. So it's an invitation of revisiting sometimes the feelings that we have towards other people for something that happened 40 years ago. And I know such people, that they won't talk to each other for something that happened so long ago that they can't even remember what it was. They just remember that I don't talk to that person. That's all they remember. So this parsha it's beautiful. It's a beautiful message. And again, especially before Rosh Hashanah, to go back to all those bad feelings that we have towards people and to think that maybe, perhaps, those feelings belong to the past, not anymore to the present, and for sure not the future. Yeah. So, we are going to continue with the third aliyah. I won't say who they are yet. Let's play a little game of trivia. Can you see, Leslie, there, your Zoom in your...
I can. I felt like they were davening across from me all morning.
Well, but don't say the name. I just want to show this photo.
Beautiful.
To see if people can use the chat to try to guess who they are. I'm going to say that they are celebrating the 64th wedding anniversary with us this Shabbat. And I'm wondering if people will know who we are talking about. Meanwhile, while people guess, let me talk a little bit about the third aliyah, because it's also a very relevant message. It says, you shall not deliver to his master a servant who escaped from his master to you. And this is something very relevant in Canadian history as well, right? The tradition of protecting people who escaped slavery south of the border. And so many times that Canada welcomed people that they were escaping oppression from other parts of the world. And we think that this is something so modern and that it's already in the Torah. It said there is a Jewish value at the same level of putting a mezuzah or giving tzedakah. It's part of who we are. Being welcoming to somebody who is escaping oppression and our obligation to give them refuge. So, what's going on in the chat, Leslie?
Well, it looks like a few people recognize this photo and the people in it. You were quite right. We have Alan and Gloria Cantor, David Wilder's cousins, it turns out. And I've got to get a map of Jewish Winnipeg one day and how everybody's related, because I always seem to find out in a funny way. But welcome. You guys look wonderful this morning. Alan and Gloria, they always observe every simcha with us, every occasion, everything important in their lives. And we are so fortunate to have you here with us this morning and to have a simcha to celebrate along with you.
Oh, terrible, I love it.
Okay, so let's call you up. Leslie, please.
Yamdu Eliakim Pesach ben Yosef Moshe Esther Pesi Vegitol Shendel bat Yaakov Veliba Lalia Hashlishi
Baruch es Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Olam Vahed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'krivanu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo taskir Eved el Adonav, asher yinasel alecha ma'im Adonav, imecha yashev bekirbecha, b'makom asher yivchar, be'echad she'arecha, b'tov lo tonenu, lo tichye kedosha mibnot Yisrael, v'lo yichye kadesh mibnei Yisrael. Lo tavi ednan zona umehir kelev beit Adonai Elohecha lechol neder ki toavat Adonai Elohecha gam shenechem.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher nosan lanu Torah emes. V'chayei olam nosav v'sotein. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, Alan and Gloria, Mazel Tov. 64 years together, beautiful. What's your secret?
I always say yes. It's very important to
Beautiful.
learn to say yes.
Yes, that's correct, actually. That's correct. Never to argue, right? Never to argue. That's the...
So do you have time for a story?
Can I say no to you?
Of course.
Okay, no. You want a story? You have a story to share?
We love a story.
Yes, please. I'm curious now.
So this is a story about how we met. Okay? This is middle 1950s, and young men and women dated. That's how the process was. So one day I'm inquiring as to the availability of girls, and a Gloria Shapiro is suggested to me. Very good. So it turns out that my parents were away. Now they had tickets to the celebrity series, G Celebrity Series, and the tickets were for the opera Madame Butterfly. And I decided I would call this Gloria Shapiro and invite her to go to the opera with me. Now, the tickets, you understand, were the two couples, my parents and my uncle Alec and Aunt Van. So the seats were together. So I invite Gloria. She agrees. She told me that she really didn't know who I was, but she wanted to see the opera. So she went out with me. And we sat and enjoyed the opera. And she told me afterwards that my Uncle Alec held her hand throughout the opera. So the next day, I'm called into my uncle's office. Now, you understand, my uncle was my principal. I articled to him, and I worked in his office. So he was my boss. So he calls me in, and he said to me, "You know, that was a very nice girl you went out with last night." you should take her out again. So I'm a loyal young man. I followed his advice and his instructions. I took her out again. And that's my story.
Okay.
And told Alan that it was time he got married for his parents' sake. So.
Oh, yeah.
But where was the second date? If the first one was to the opera?
I don't remember.
Oh, well. Okay. Okay.
You're going to a long story of romance here.
Yeah.
But
thank you so much for sharing. And let me give you my blessing this important moment. Because as I always say, you celebrate with your family, you celebrate with your friends, and now you're celebrating with your congregation, but you're also inviting God to this celebration. Misheverach Avoteinu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Lea. הוא יברך את אלוקים פסח בן יוסף משה ואסתר פסי וגיטל שיינדל בת יעקב וליבה בעבור שבאו היום להודות לשם קודשו על כל החסד אשר גמל להם מיום חתונתם ומיום שמחתם ליבם עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרם ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה ויזכו לראות צאצאיהם עוסקים בתורה ומצוות ובצורכי ציבור ובבניין ארץ ישראל ואמונה וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם עם כל ישראל לאחיהם ונאמר אמן. May God who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel and Leah bless Alan and Gloria Cantor who are here today with gratitude for all the blessings the 64 years together have afforded them. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu protect and deliver them. May they continue to enjoy God's blessing in the new song of the years to come, embraced by the love of their children and grandchildren, so that they may always live in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And let us all say, Amen. עוד ישמע בערי יהודה ובחוצות ירושלים עוד ישמע בערי יהודה ובחוצות ירושלים כל ששון וכל שמחה כל חתן וכל כלה כל ששון וכל שמחה כל חתן וכל כלה. Mazel Tov for many, many more years together, celebrating your love, again, with family, friends, community, and God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's continue with the service.
I'd like to wish Cindy Singer Yasher Koach on your beautiful reading this morning, and thank you so much for the time and the love and the care it takes to learn to read the readings and to come in and read them from the Torah scroll this morning. Yasher Koach. And now it's my turn. Rabbi Anibal, who's up next?
Next is on the outline. It's going to be Rosie Engel Gordon. I wonder if she's already in town because Rosie has the unveiling coming up next week. So maybe we'll see her soon. So we have the Revi'i Aliyah. It's on page 1125 of the Etz Chaim Chumash, or Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verses 20 to 24. Tamod Saravat Meiru Mindel Aliyah Revi'i. Rosie is remembering her grandmothers, because it's her yahrzeit today, and her name is Feigi Leah Engel, Zichrona Libracha, of blessed memory. And Leslie is going to read the Torah for us. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתת לנו את תורתו. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen, amen. לא תשיך לאחיך נשף כסף, נשך אוכל, נשך כל דבר אשר ישך. לנוכרי תשיך, ולאחיך לא תשיך, למען יברכך אדוני אלוהיך, בכל משלח ידיך על הארץ, אשר אתה בא שמה לרשתה. כי תדור נדר לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תאחר לשמו, כי דורש ידרשנו, אדוני אלוהיך מעמך, והיה בך חטא, וכי תחדל לנדור, לא יהיה בך חטא. מוצא שפתיך תשמור ועשית, כאשר נדרת, לאדוני אלוהיך נדבה, אשר דיברת בפיך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Rosie, may the soul of your grandmother, Fegilea Engel, Zichronah Livracha, have an aliyah in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. Amen. And thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. Next week, God willing, I will be there officiating the unveiling of your dear mother. So see you soon. Time to continue with the Hamishi Aliyah. Do we have a taker, Leslie?
We do. We have Jerome Foman, and I think I know his name. I'm going to double check. Are you Zelig Ben Ephraim Vegolda? I've got it. Jerome, thank you so much for accepting an honor this morning.
You can call him up, and I will say the blessing.
Sounds good. Yamod Zelig Ben Ephraim Vegolda Laliyah HaChamishi.
This is Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verses 25 to chapter 24, verse 4, or page 1127. Jerome, this is for you. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. כי תבוא בחרם רעך, ואכלת ענבים, כנפשך סובך, ועל כלך לא תיתן. כי תבוא בקמת רעך, וכתבת מלילות בידיך, וחרמש לא תניף על קמת רעך. כי כך איש אישה ובעלה, והיה אם לא תמצא חן בעיניו, כי מצא וערוות דבר, וכתב לה ספר כריתות ונתן בידה, ושילחה מביתו, ויצא מביתו, והלכה והייתה לאיש אחר, ושנאה האיש האחרון, וכתב לה ספר כריתות ונתן בידה, ושילחה מביתו, כי ימות האיש האחרון, אשר לקחה לו לאישה, לא יוכל בעלה הראשון, אשר שילחה, לשוב לקחת, להיות לו לאישה, אחרי אשר הותאמה, כי תועבה היא לפני אדוני, ולא תחתי את הארץ, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך נחלה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Yasher Koach Jerome. And Yasher Koach Leslie. Wonderful reading.
Thank you so much.
And before we move on to the sixth one, do we have a taker for that one?
Well, I was actually going to honor Marvin with that one.
Okay. But before we go there, I was just reading the English of the fifth Aliyah. And it actually is funny when it says, when you come into your neighbor's vineyard, then you may eat the grapes. You might eat of grapes you fill at your own pleasure, but you shall not put any in your vessel. I don't know, it kind of reminds me a situation with our neighbor, that he has a beautiful apple tree, and he kind of comes over the fence in our homes, and I was always guilty. I mean, I had this guilt of taking apples from there. And you know what happened one day? He knocked at the door and said, you can take all the apples you want, you know.
Well, when you have an apple tree, sometimes they make quite a few apples. And it's hard to
but
keep
he
up.
actually he gave me permission. You can take all the apples you want.
Perfect.
And then I didn't have the guilt anymore. So I don't know. It wasn't the same, so I never took another one. No, just kidding. They're great. And they're not even sour. Sometimes they're tart, right? These little ones.
Yeah.
This one are actually sweet. And yeah, I don't know. Just remind me to that episode, the thing. But also, I don't know if you realize, you said the word, Leslie, Sefer Keritut.
Yes, I did.
You know what that is?
I've wondered.
It's the get.
Oh, yes, of course.
The Torah doesn't use the word get for a divorce. Use Sefer Keritut.
Now I'll know.
And then eventually devolve into the get, but it's mentioned in this week's Parsha as well. As I mentioned, many different things this week's Parsha. Beautiful. Okay, so let's continue now with the Shishi. And we honor Marvin. What's your name, Marvin?
Chaim Meyer.
Yamot Chaim Meyer ben David Lalia Shishid. And even though he's here, I had to say the blessing, right?
Yes.
I had to say the blessing. Baruchu et Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim vena'at lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. Page 1128, or Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 5 to 9. Leslie is going to read for us.
Amen. Ki kach ish isha chadasha, lo yetze batzava, v'lo yavor alav lechol davar. Naki yeh leveto shana achad, v'samach et ishto asher lakach. Lo yachvor echaim v'rochev ki nefesh hu chovel. כי מצא איש, גונב נפש מאחיו מבני ישראל, להתעמר בו ומחרו, ומת הגונב ההוא, ויראת הרע מקרבך, הישמר בנגע הצרת, לשמור מאוד ולעשות, ככל אשר יורו אתכם, והכהנים הלוויים, כאשר ציוויתם, תשמרו לעשות, זכור את אשר עשה אדוני אלוהיך למרים, בדרך בצאתכם ממצרים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Yasher Koach, Marvin. Yasher Koach, Leslie.
Baruch Tieh.
And again, another wonderful message. Listen to this. The end of the Parsha. It says, it's talking about when they had the plague of Tzarat, right? Like a pandemic back then. They couldn't control it. And they said, you should observe diligently and do according to all that the priests and the Levites should teach you. So basically it said, you have to listen to the experts. And you have to do everything that they tell you. And then we say that the Torah is not relevant in every generation. What a wonderful message.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I see next Leslie's name here. So you are going to be honored, Leslie, with the Shevi and Maftir.
I am. Thank you.
Fantastic. About time to get you one special honor after all these readings. You've been reading for other people. Now you're going to read for yourself. That's great.
Thank you.
Tamod, Tamod, Shoshana Vatleha, Maftirah Hiskihi. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 10 to 13, or page 1129.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ki tashev reacha mashat meuma. Lo tavo el beito lavot avoto. Bachutz tamod vaish. Asher atano shehevo. Yotzi elecha et avot hachutza. Imishanihu. Lo tishkav avoto. Hashev tashiv lo et avot kevo hashemesh v'shachav v'samato v'recheka u'lecha tieh tzedaka lifnei Adonai Elohecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesher kochech. Leslie, once again,
Baruch tieh.
double blessing for reading the Torah and for blessing the Torah. Wonderful. And now it's time for you to have the third honor, which is Magbia and Golelet. Leslie is going to lift and tie the Torah for us. So I would like to invite everyone to rise to honor the Torah. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. As Leslie finishes covering the Torah, you may be seated. And then we are about to switch gears into the Haftorah. Remember, now that we passed Tisha B'Av and we are approaching Rosh Hashanah, we have the tradition to read every Shabbat between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah an uplifting Haftorah. The rabbis call them the Haftarot of consolation. Well, this week's Parsha is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verses 1 to 10. And it's a beautiful, beautiful song of hope. It starts saying, "Sing, you barren woman who has not burned." So, in other words, and we know sometimes women, for example, that they struggle to get a child. And basically what the Torah says is, that pain that is such a profound and difficult pain to deal with, and said that pain is going to go away, and the miracle is going to happen. So he's taking a beautiful example of something that creates so much pain, and then the Torah says that pain is going to disappear. In the same way, we should learn from that there is always hope in life. Sometimes it doesn't have today or tomorrow, but we have to stay strong in our faith, expectant that the miracle is going to come our way. And this Haftorah also is, I believe, is one of the shortest of the year. Traditionally, they are Bnei Bnot Mitzvah fighting to get it because you don't have much to study during the year. It's only 10 verses. And this is the whole thing. It's not that we took anything away. We didn't cut it. It's just 10 verses. So I'm kind of jealous that Leslie's reading it now.
Well, if you like, there's still time, but but I'm happy to read the Haftorah this morning. It's been a while, and sometimes when you have a few occasions in the week, my mom-in-law finally made it here for the first time in 2 years for a visit, and so much to feel grateful for. It's a nice morning to be chanting a Haftorah with gratitude.
Beautiful. So Leslie, take it away. We are on page 1129. No, sorry, 1138. Isaiah chapter 54, verses 1 to 10.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uveMoshe avdo uV'Yisrael amo uV'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Roni akara lo yalada Pitzchi rina v'tzahali lo chala ki rabim b'nei shomema mi b'nei ve'ulam har Adonai archivi mekom aholech v'riot mishkenotayich Yatu al tachsochi, ha'arichi metaraich, v'terotaich chazeki. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, zarech goyim hirash, v'arim neshamot yoshivu. Al tiri ki lo tevoshi ve'al tikami ki lo tachpiri ki voshet alumayich tishkachi ve'cherpat almenutayich lo tizkiri od ki vo'alayich osayich Adonai tzevahot shemo v'goalech kedosh Yisrael Elohei kol haaretz yikareh ki cheisha zuva v'atzuvat ruach kra'ach Adonai Veshet neurim Tiki timahes amar Elohayich Berega katon azavtich V'rachamim gedolim akabetzech Beshetzef ketzef Histarti fanai rega mimech Uvechesed olam richamtich Amar goalech Adonai, ki menoach zot li, asher nishbati, me'avor menoach, od al haaretz, ken nishbati, miktov alayich umigor bach, כי הערים ימושו, והגבעות תמותנה, וחסדי מיתך לא ימוש, וברית שלומי לא תמות. אמר מרחמך אדוני. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bekol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם, כי המלך נאמן, ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני. האל הנאמן וכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
משמח ציון בבניה.
אמן.
שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך. במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו. על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
מגן דוד.
אמן.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים, ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
מקדש השבת.
אמן. Yasher koach, Leslie.
ברוך תהיה.
Beautiful, beautiful reading of the Torah. They have Torah, and of course the davening before. So what a great way to celebrate Shabbat. Look at the chat.
Beautiful.
People are cheering.
I want to do a shout out here. You know, next week is my bat mitzvah parsha. And as I was reading Haftorah, it seems like a fitting time of the year for me to be reading a Haftorah. Next week's is taken. We have a bat mitzvah next week. I'm so excited to be here with her. But I wanted to have a shout out to my bat mitzvah tutor, Sherry Winters. Thank you for teaching me so well that I can still do this 25 years later.
Okay. Okay. So yes, it's always good to recognize who our teachers and mentors are, right? Sometimes we forget that we are where we are, impart things to them.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, talent can take you that far, but you need mentors to shape you. It's well, Sherry Winters, kol hakavod.
I'm taking a look at our outline here. I think it is time for...
Yeah, Jose Suelva said next week. Yes, it's Kitavo next week.
That's right.
And
That's right.
it's interesting, the sequence, because this week is Tetzei, when you go out, and next week is Kitavo, when you come back, or when you come, right? Ki
Beautiful.
tetzei, ki tavo. It's a interesting sequence.
And in all my years of teaching, I've never actually taught my bat mitzvah parsha. And this year, my first student, after coming back into pandemic world, I taught my bat mitzvah parsha. So it was very meaningful to me to teach such a student. I hope you enjoy the simcha next week. But before that...
No pressure, right, for her?
Oh, no. You know what? I think she's going to enjoy it. She's the kind of kid who loves to sing. So hopefully we'll all have a beautiful morning together.
Absolutely.
And now we have a few announcements for you all. This week, Torah L'Chaim. Every Thursday at noon, you have the opportunity to explore the Parsha with Rabbi Anibal Mas. You're welcome to join him on Facebook, YouTube, or the Esed website. Choosing Judaism, the next session is beginning this September. It'll take place on Sundays, beginning September 12th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. CDT over Zoom. There's 25 sessions in total. This isn't just for conversion. Anybody who would like to deepen their connection and understanding of Jewish holidays, ethics, Torah, you're more than welcome to join Rabbi Anibal Mas and take this very meaningful course with him. Fees do apply and registration is required. However, if you're interested, please contact Stacy in our office. We have a beautiful service coming up, a refuah slichot, a healing service. This has been a very odd year, or maybe more than a year for many of us actually. And we found our way through. We found our way together. And in honor of this journey together, we are having a healing service for slichot. We hope that you'll join us for this uplifting musical service, providing comfort and hope as we prepare for the Jewish New Year. This will stream on August 28th at 8 p.m. CDT over Facebook and YouTube. We will have myself and Rabbi Anibal Mas, as well as, we are excited to announce, our guest percussionist, Isaac Gutwillick, our violinist, Carolina Nagy, and more. The evening will conclude with Havdalah. Our High Holy Day services are as accessible as we could make them this year. You can find them like you find all of our services now on YouTube, streaming for free online, so everybody can access them who is looking to observe, celebrate, and experience the High Holy Days this year. This will take place for Rosh Hashanah. But you know what is funny? The dates of Rosh Hashanah are not in here, but I know them because I work at a shul, and I am very focused on Rosh Hashanah right now.
I hope you didn't book holidays for that day.
I would never. September 7th and 8th is Rosh Hashanah. We hope that you will join us for a meaningful bringing in of the new year. Coming up as well, people often think the High Holy Days kind of close with Yom Kippur, but after that, we are in the midst of all of the Chagim of the fall. There are so many that take place. And if you would like a lulav and etrog set, you can still get one. You can order them by Tuesday, August the 30th. It's a meaningful way to celebrate Sukkot. I love the smells of Sukkot, the sounds of Sukkot. So if you'd like an etrog and a lulav of your own, now I'm excited. I've always loved Sukkot. There's something magic about it. You can contact Bill Weissman, our shamus. He'd be happy to connect you with a lulav and etrog of your own for your home. And the Sisterhood Book Club is back September 29th at 2 p.m. over Zoom. That's a Wednesday. And the book is A Backpack, a Bear, and 8 Crates of Vodka, a memoir by Lev Golinkin. This will be led by Rhonda Ewell. Rhonda is a regular at our Shabbat morning services. Rhonda, that is so cool that you're leading this upcoming book club. And I hope you can check it out. This is a compelling story of 2 intertwined journeys, a Jewish refugee family fleeing persecution and a young man seeking to reclaim his shattered past. This memoir promises you a thrilling, poignant, loving tale of survival told through the eyes of a Jewish boy as he becomes an adult. You can register through our sisterhood or through the synagogue website until September 24th. And you must be a sisterhood member to attend, but I can tell you, our sisterhood is a wonderful group of people to be a part of. If you're curious who to talk to, how to connect, let me know. I would love to connect you with them. Sherazette Catering continues to make delicious food all the time. Contact Chef Joel if you're hungry and you're planning ahead. Also, you can get your Yom Kippur Break the Fast takeout menu. It's a very convenient way to break the fast because nobody wants to cook on Yom Kippur. You're welcome to place your order with Chef Joel. Give him a call. We are still in need of volunteer pallbearers to assist families in emergency situations. If you know anyone or if you can help out yourself, please contact Estelle Raber in our office. And now, a prayer for healing. We do have so many in our community in need of healing. If you know someone and you would like to add their name to our prayer, You can add their name in through our chat here and we'll read it out loud. On our list today we have Rochelle Bat Sonia, Alfie Glass, Beryl Ben Devora, Esther Bela Bat Sarah, Lucy Braverman, Georgina Tassara, David Tzvi Ben Sarah Pessel, Dina Rachel Bat Sarah Esther, Yitzchak Chaim Ben Sarah, Tova Yael Bat Dina Rachel, Shira Naomi Bat Dina Rachel, Eliezer Meyer Ben Tova Yael, Katriel Yosef Ben Tova Yael, Yisrael Chaim Ben Shira Naomi, Dave Scammell, Penina Bat Sarah, Chaya Zahava Bat Leah, Eliyahu Lev Ben Rivka, Atara Bat Etel, Shmuel Leib Ben Gittel, Dana Brinley, Janice Diner Bat Batsheva, Leonard Leibel Stone, Liba Bat Shoshana, Ariel Neshama Bat Sarah, Isabella Bat Sarah, Batsheva Bat Sarah, Yitzchak Dov Ben Bela, Moshe Aharon Ben Leah, Miriam Rachel Bat Leah, Carolyn Louise Smith, Chazan Shefer Ben Miriam, Harav Avraham Yehoshua Heschel Ben Ruth, Gavriel Ben Etel Gita, Carmel Bat Iris, Chaim Ben Miriam, Eliana Bat Malka, Eliakim Pesach Ben Esther Pessi, Sharon Bat Golda, Leah Bat Tzvi, Tinok Ben Nurit, Shmuel Ben Zina, Shane Johnson, Malka Faiga Bat Shandel, Derek Ben Meredith, Kedma Bat Sarah, Shoshana Miriam Bat Kedma, Patricia Bat Olga, Barbara Bat Patricia, April Bat Pamela, Yaakov Ben Simcha, Daniel Ben Rivka, Meyer David Ben Machlea, Leah Bat Adele, Colin Rich, Chaim Osher Ben Chaim Malka, Adrian McDonald, Meyer David Ben Machlea, Chengsa Gittel Bat Leah, Jan Bat Jean, Michelle Saip, and Chaya Rivka Bat Ruth, Sam Grounke, Shimon Ben Chaya Bella, Herbert Singer, Carla Bat Nancy, Andres Ben Gloria, Temi Bat Rochel, Yehudit Bat Rochelle, Isabella Bat Sarah, Malka Bat Yaakova, Chana Bat Chaya Etel, and Sam's list. And I think I got everyone. Let's join together in a Misha Berach prayer, a prayer for healing. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe berach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen.
May those in need of healing be in a better state of health soon. And now, one of my favorite parts of the service,
It's
the
time to
Dvar Torah.
did we return the Torah to the ark?
Oh, no, we didn't. I was ready early, I guess.
I thought
I'm
that was
excited.
your favorite part of the service, to return the Torah to the ark. I
Oh,
said,
no, I
"Really?"
like taking the Torah out. I'm always slow to put it back. But I'm happy to this morning. I'll go collect our Torah scroll, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, hallelujah. Please rise. Et Shem Adonai, ki nitzkav shemo levado. Odo al eretz v'shamayim, vayaren kerem le'amo. Teila, teila lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכי המאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
Yashikoya, once
Baruch
again.
Tieh. And now for the Devar.
So, I heard about this school teacher. He was teaching second grade, and he was teaching math to the class. So he's talking to one of the kids, the class, and he asked the kid a very simple question. He said, if I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And the kid said, 7. He said, pay attention to me. Listen to what I'm saying. If I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And the kid said, 7. Okay, let me try something else. If I give you 2 apples, and then another 2 apples, and then I give you another 2 apples, how many apples will you have? I said, 6. Great. So if I give you 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, and then another 2 cats, how many cats will you have? And he said, 7. And the teacher said, how do you come out to that number? Well, because I already have a cat at home. So I want to talk to you today about who is in control. Who is in control? These are things that we should be thinking about. We're approaching Rosh Hashanah, almost the end of another year. And I don't know about you, but usually people, they make resolutions, right, at the beginning of the year. Could be sometimes at the end of December, but sometimes for Rosh Hashanah, we make resolutions. We come to synagogue. Sometimes we get inspired. It's sometimes a prayer that will trigger something. Sometimes a word or a phrase from a sermon that will trigger something, and you will say, that makes sense. I want to apply it to my life. I want to change. I want to do it better. We make a resolution, right? And then another year goes by. And sometimes we find ourselves still struggling with exactly the same thing. I'm not saying that we didn't try, but for one reason or another, we are still struggling. And those struggles sometimes keep limiting us. We know we can be better. We know we can give better. We know there is space to grow. But because we don't deal sometimes with those limitations, we are very limited of what we can give, of what we can achieve in our lives. And the interesting thing is that sometimes it is a real limitation, but most of the time it's just excuses that we come out with. So those excuses are limiting what we can do. Because we know we can, but for some reason we look back to the year and we didn't do it. So what happened in the middle? Excuses happened. Excuses. We always have that voice trying to talk us out of the decisions we made, even though we know they are good decisions, but that voice wouldn't shut up. I keep saying, stay in bed a little longer. Don't read that now. Oh, you know what? You will have time next week. Don't do it next week. Well, let me tell you something. The rabbis talk a lot about that. But all those excuses, and specifically about that voice that is always giving us bad advice, and they call it the Yetzer Hara, sometimes translated as evil inclination, which is an interesting name and very confusing in English, because if you study the concept of evil inclination, you will realize that it's not evil at all. There is nothing evil about the Yetzer Hara. So what is the Yetzer Hara? Well, the rabbi said, Yetzer Hara are the drives, the urges that we have in this life. And that's this is something very powerful. There are things that they are pushing us to do certain things. And if we don't control that Yetzer Hara, those drives, those urges, may push us to do negative things. But Judaism never said that you have to destroy the Yetzer Hara. Judaism said that you have to learn to control and to channel those urges and those drives into something positive. The rabbi said that without the Yetzer Hara, nobody will get married, nobody will try to start a business, and nobody will do something for their community and for other people and so forth. So it's an energy that is absolutely necessary in our lives. But then again, uncontrolled, that is the energy that is creating excuses every day, because it's very powerful enough to stop us into doing something that we know that is good for us. You know, excuses, we don't know. Well, I will do it when I don't have so much to do, when I too much work right now, I can't. Or, you know, when my child gets a little older, I will go back into those courses that I know I can take. Or, you know, I won't do it now. I will wait until the weather is a little better, and so forth. We all come out with excuses why we don't do something good in our lives. Sometimes those excuses could be taken to the extreme. I heard this story of this man who was talking to a rabbi, and it was a counseling session. And the man was actually struggling in life. And he said to the rabbi, you know, I've been out of work. All what I can do is selling drugs. That's all I can do in life, selling drugs. And the rabbi said, whoa, hold on a minute. That's not true. I said, look, you know how to sell a product. Well, that's marketing. And they said, well, you know how to get the word out. That's advertisement. They said, well, I'm pretty sure you take care of your clients. That's customer service. Said, but then you know when to sell and when not to sell. Well, that's a management decision. So don't tell me that you cannot do it. You just decide to do something that is bad. But if you can sell drugs, you have the talent to sell something else. You can sell insurance. You can sell medical supplies and so many other things. So you have to make a decision and to control the talent that you have into something good. And that same principle could be applied to many other things in our lives. Let me tell you something about this week's Parsha, the very, very beginning of the Parsha. We have the verse that it says, Ki tetzei lemilchama al oyevecha, unetano Adonai Elohecha beyadecha, veshavita shivyo. It says, when you go out to war against your enemy, Adonai, your God, will give your enemy in the palm of your hand, and you will take it prisoner. And the rabbi said, the enemy mentioned in the Torah is the Yetzer Hara. And it says the first thing you have to do is to make a decision that you're going to present battle against your enemy. If you don't make that decision, God won't do it for you. Number one, you have to make the resolution that you're going to get engaged into that process. Once you're there and you do what you have to do to present that battle against your drive and your urges, then it says, then and only then I will help you, and you will hold it in the palm of your hand, and you will take it prisoner. You see, again, it doesn't say that you're going to destroy your enemy. You're going to take it prisoner. Your enemy will be in your hand. And the rabbi said, if you don't do that, it's the opposite. You will be in your enemy's hand. So I get the question in this week's Parsha is, Who controls who? Very powerful question. Who is in control? There is no in between. Either you control the Yetzer Hara and you use it to something positive, or the Yetzer Hara will control you. You are going to be a slave of your urges and your drives, and the outcome is going to be a negative one. So this is a very powerful reminder that another year is about to start. I'm pretty sure we're going to make lots of resolutions, but the Torah says, stay strong. Face your issues, face your challenges, and keep strong. Because if you are not able to control your challenges, your issues, your drives, your urges, unfortunately, they are going to control you. So stay strong in this new year. Face whatever you're facing in your life and have faith, as this parsha say. If you do it, if you give your 100%, then God will be there, do everything else that you cannot achieve with your own strength. Shabbat Shalom, and in advance, Shana Tova Umetuka. Happy New Year.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's continue.
Beautiful teachings. And it is such an important time of year for us as Jews, reflecting and approaching the High Holy Days. And so thank you. Each week, Rabbi Anibal has such meaningful messages for us as we approach that time of year, and inspiring messages. So hopefully we can all approach the new year with intention. We're going to continue on page 44 with Aleinu, and you're invited to rise as the ark is opened. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ומלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please remain standing for the mourner's Kaddish.
This week, we mourn the passing of Jerry Marcus and offer our heartfelt sympathy to Dale Marcus, Barb Neiman, and Rabbi Alan Finkel. We extend our condolences to the families of Dr. Alan Scheinoff, Patricia Brody, Phyllis Kluner-Hatskin, Sarah Sally Goldberg, Bernard Narvi, and Minnie Karlinski. This week, we commemorate the yahrzeit of Hattie Wilder, grandmother of David Wilder, Frances Sheps, mother of Philip Sheps, Dora Zaidman, great-aunt of Shelley Trochanov, Ellen Zaidman, Harriet Zaidman, and Paul Zaidman, Harry and Dora Morris, mother-in-law and father-in-law of Patty Morris, Henry Faintuck, father of Helen Keston, Al Bloomfield, husband of Faye Bloomfield, Nathan Elbaz, brother of Daniel Elbaz and brother-in-law of Rena Sector Elbaz, Jack Racklin, remembered by Ron Singer, Minnie Goldie Sipe, grandmother of Jackie Sipe, Eli Fish and Charna Fiegelstein, remembered by Israel and Lori Bin Noon, and Halinka Edelman, the child we honor and remember through one more candle. We turn to page 46 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners and those observing yahrzeit, let's join together. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yerutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon u'v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv yimru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu.
Brihu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen. You may be seated as we approach the end of the service. It's time to say goodbye.
Time
Aw,
flies.
It's
I
time to
know.
go home.
That was fast for me.
Yeah. Yeah, even though I'm looking at the clock, it is 12:07. I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, time flies, as they say, and we've had a meaningful morning. We hope you've all enjoyed the service. And thank you so much for joining us here this morning at Shir Zedek. And we're going to sing you out the virtual door. I don't know which version we're going to do today, Rabbi Anibal.
Do you know the Secunda one, the Shalom Secunda?
I don't know. I don't know.
Don olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra. Do you know
That's-
that one?
I do. It's one of my favorites. I don't know if I sing it the same way you play it, but we're going to have
Let's try it.
an experiment. A huge thank you to Rabbi Anibal Mas for guiding us so capably through the service this morning and for your meaningful teachings. Marvin Polanski for the amazing work that you do, getting everything from the sanctuary out to all of you at home. Thank you to Cindy Singer for learning 3 readings from the Torah scroll this morning and chanting them so beautifully. And thank you to all of you for joining us, for being the wonderful, supportive community that you are. And now,
And then you are back at 6, right?
I'm back at 6 o'clock. Yeah, we have a Torah service this evening at 6 p.m. and tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and the weekday rhythm, 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. from Monday to Thursday.
Let's see if the key is good for you.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra le'et nasa v'chepto kol azai melech shemo nikra Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra le'et nasa v'chepto kol azai melech shemo nikra ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ללא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם עולם,
אדון עולם,
אשר מלך,
אשר מלך,
בטרם כל,
בטרם כל,
יציר נברא,
יציר נברא,
לעת נשא,
לעת נשא,
בחפצו כל,
בחפצו כל,
אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. אדון
אדון עולם,
אשר
אשר מלך,
בטרם
בטרם
כל,
כל,
יציר נברא,
יציר נברא,
לעת נשא, בחפצו כל,
בחפצו כל,
אזי מלך שמו נקרא. בידו הפקיד רוחי, ותישן ואירה, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל, יציר נברא, לעת נשא, בחפצו כל, אזי מלך, שמו נקרא. שבת שלום.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.